Yo, 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 Donkin Dave here. Day number 41 of the Take It Easy tour.
Take it easy, take it easy.
And I am so damn tired right now. I got here to the campsite, and it's a great campsite. Great park, you know. 24 bucks Canadian. That equates to about 20 bucks with the exchange rate of 1.33 Canadian equals $1. So it's about 20 bucks for me to camp here. So that's awesome. But I got here, set up camp, went down here to the area there where the beach is, if you want to call it. It is a nice beach. And the fog was set in and it started to lift. And I met a guy. A couple was sitting down at a bench there at the beach, and we started talking, and I mentioned that I was on a trip on a motorcycle, and he said, well, I've got a motorcycle too. His wife said he got a motorcycle too. And I said, really, what you got? He goes, I got a Honda CBX. And I was like, you got the 6-cylinder CBX? He goes, no, I got the 2-cylinder. I said, the parallel twin? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, that's what I'm on. So, you know, just bumping into the guy, we were able to chat it up and talk about our bikes. And he came over and looked at my bike, and, you know, we had a good time talking. He's a good guy. Just he's a retired Canadian dude, and his wife was just, you know, just a lovely lady. That's Canadian for, you know, sweet. And but we just had a good time talking, so that was nice. And then we were about to get done talking, and the storm rolls in, and I mean, it was a hellacious storm. Oh my God. So got nailed with that. I holed up in the tent, and you know, lasted the entire evening there in the tent. And oh man, it just sucked. I got like 2 hours of sleep. It was just awful. You know, my mind is reeling. I keep on having these epiphanies. I swear to God, I have had probably 6 epiphanies so far. And when I mean by an epiphany, I mean an aha moment where you say, oh yeah, that, and it hits you like a ton of bricks. And I can't go into great detail on them because they're very personal. Come on, let's go. My face shield is all fogged up. So they're very personal, and I just can't really discuss them at this time. Maybe someday I will. There's the beach. Isn't that cool? So, man, I'm just kicking myself right now over some things. But oh, come on, dry out. Here, that's a little bit better. It'll dry out eventually. So I'm in Nova Scotia, and obviously not Nova Scotia, I'm in New Brunswick. And obviously I had that debacle with my passport yesterday. That worked out fine. You know, they were cool about it. I mean, they were understanding. And the people there at the U.S. border I was more worried about, because I had heard stories about people not being allowed back in if they didn't have their passport. So I was about to just, you know, I was puckered up pretty good. But it all worked out fine. No problema. So today we're traveling east on this highway. It's supposed to get to like US 1 or whatever it's called, or not US 1, Canadian 1. I don't know, but we'll get there eventually, and it'll be nice. Donkin Dave out. Okay guys, we're here in St. John in New Brunswick, and this is the river. This is the Reversing Rapids Park. And what happens is we have a river that's coming down this way. This is the natural current of the river. And the tide comes in this way. It either comes in or it goes out. And low tide was at like 8 o'clock this morning, and high tide is like at 2. And there's going to become a time where the current from the river is matched by the strength of the tide coming in. And when that happens, it reverses. These whirlpools and everything will reverse, and it'll go that way. And it may look like a wave coming in. And this is one of the natural wonders of the world. And I'm just going to hang out here for an hour. It's now 11 o'clock a.m. and they say that this thing is going to happen at 12:03. So that's what I'm waiting for. So right now we're just seeing the current come through. And look at all the whirlpools and everything right there. It is strong, strong current. All right, folks, we are at the ebb point where the current coming down meets the current coming up, and it equalizes. It's an ebb, and it's the one time, or there's 2 times during the day, that a boat can come through this current and a passageway here without being in trouble or damaged or what have you. So you see this sailboat here that's under power right now, and eventually what's going to happen is the tide is going to overcome this current coming down, and there will be waves coming this way instead of going that way. So we're about at that point. It's taken about an hour and 15 minutes to have this, and we've got people here from everywhere. There's a couple here that I have been talking to from Britain, and they're on a cruise, and we have just been talking everything from politics to roads to the weather to just everything. And it's an amazing thing to get to talk to these people and find out their point of views on things. I won't say anything pro-Trump or anti-Trump or anything like that, but it's just an amazing thing to see. And you know, we all live in the same world, and we all have the same issues, you know, from the left and the right and the right and the left and the moderates and the radicals and everything else. It's just an amazing thing to hear. So all right, we're gonna see if this wave will come in. I'll let you know. Talk to Dave out. Okay guys, it's just now starting to where the water is going in that direction. You can see a little bit of a swirl right there going, and then that bit of I guess surface algae or whatever, suds, whatever, is starting to move that way. And it was flowing this way, and now it's going to start flowing that way. Alright guys, it's only been about 15 minutes since I spoke last, and we can see from these rocks right here how the current is already going over there. And those rocks that were over there, they were completely exposed, and now they're almost totally submerged by the current and the water level. So this thing is moving quick, really, really quick. Okay guys, we're back. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes. It's all about 2 o'clock local time here, and as you can see, the river is really flowing pretty strong now, or the tide is flowing pretty strong now. The river is up there, and so this is really neat. You know, I was thinking about this as I walked over here from the bridge, and some of you guys might be saying, hey Dave, what's the big deal? It's just water. It's just water flowing. Well, this is very rare, and the reason why it's special is that this river up here is the St. John River, and I was at Fort Kent in Maine, and that's over 200 miles away north from here, and these tides are stopping that entire river right now, and that's strong. And of course, you know, when the tide goes out, the river will take over. But there's not too many other places in the world where this occurs. So that's why it's special, and that's why I'm showing it to you. It's a wonderful geological, hydrological event that's taking place here. And I think it's cool. I think it's neat. So that's it for the Reversing Falls here in New Brunswick. Bunga Dave out. Coming into the town of St. John, and you can see a ginormous cruise ship there. That's where the people were, the Brits that I talked to. That's where they came from. And St. John is an old town. I don't know exactly how old it is, but it's old. There's Coast Guard people right there. Canada Coast Guard. That's pretty cool. So we're just going to kind of wander around St. John here and just kind of see what we can see. I'm not really a praying man, but this is a Gothic church, one of the oldest Gothic churches in Canada from what I read. And it was on one of the brochures or pamphlets or something to come see. I'm not a praying man anymore, only when I'm in really big trouble. But it's still a pretty neat church and thing to see. The history here is pretty cool. But like I said, it was on a pamphlet to come see, so coming to see it. Looks like it could use some work, a lot of work. Alright, that's it. Well, here's another church, the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. And it's Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm not really a praying man either. But again, it was on the list of things to see around here, so I thought I'd come here and see it. It's big. It's pretty nice. I imagine it took a lot of money to make. And they still have masses here. It looks like they're doing some work on it and everything, but they still have mass here. So that's cool. This region here is predominantly Catholic anyway. So they got a lot of them. I can see the Last Supper up there on the wall. And there's Mary over there. So that's pretty cool. Immaculate Conception. This is going to sound really ugly, but I think I'm in the crackhead part of town. Because I was trying to find something, and I just can't seem to locate it. And I was riding by some of these places, and people are like looking at me funny, and I mean really funny. And they didn't look too good either, to be quite honest. So, but I do kind of think it's cool to see these old buildings right here. I mean, they're old. They've been there for a while. And then, you know, coming up on some new buildings right there. See, people just kind of hanging out, doing stuff. People hanging out here at the church. There's the church. Just took a picture of that. Hey, you're on YouTube. Alright guys, don't think I'm too weird on this, okay? But there was one of the things in the brochures that said there was a cemetery to the Loyalists, the old Loyalists, and I had to do a little research on this. And this is a cemetery, believe it or not. It's a park. They got people here just kind of hanging out and doing nothing. But it's a park and a cemetery. I've never seen anything like this before. But the Loyalists were people that were loyal to King George during the American Revolutionary War. And what they did is when the United States, when the colonies won the war, the Loyalists, rather than being persecuted, they fled to Canada. And they lived here in Canada. And they're buried here. So these are Americans, and they just kind of left the United States and headed up here to Canada to live and establish their lives and everything. And as you can see, it's a park. I mean, it's a park in the middle of the town. You know, it's not a cemetery. It's just a park. And these people here, I mean, they lived and died. They died like 1805 and stuff like that. So it's pretty remarkable, I think. you know, this area has got a lot of history to it and everything. So I thought I'd bring that to you, just see what you think. Don't think I'm weird on this. I mean, I'm not out here digging up graves or anything like that, or humping bodies or anything like that. That's gross. But you got a couple of guys there. Who knows what they're up to? So yeah, it's just a park with cemetery, with a cemetery in it. Right? You never know what you're going to see here in Canada. All right, that's it. Talking Dave out. Well, guys, that's about St. John right there. I wanted to see those rapids, or reversing rapids, and then a couple other things, and really that's about all that they had on their points of interest thing. I mean, I was looking for stuff to look at, but there just wasn't that much stuff. And it's a pretty big industrial town. I mean, that's a refinery right over there, and they got a couple of paper mills here, and that's really about it. That's a big refinery right there. Wow. So, you know, it's a port town. They get the tourists in from the cruise boats and everything, and of course their claim to fame is the rapids. So that's about it. That's about it for St. John. Well, I wanted to come and get away from it all. Let's see what I did. This is pretty damn cool right here. They just said that there were steep curves, or steep hills and sharp curves. So let's see what we've got here. Yeah, I'm at Fundy National Park. This is a national park for Canada, as opposed to a provincial park. And it's beautiful. Had some signs up to look for moose. I hope not. But there you go. There's the Bay of Fundy right there. Woo! Nice. And let's see what we got here for a curve. Not bad. Fundy Park Motel. I didn't know they had a Fundy Park Hotel. Oh well. So down here at the bottom of this is a little town called Alma. So I might go check that out. There's another campground. It's a private campground. All the campgrounds are full here, by the way. So I have to find a place to stay for the night, and I can't stay here at the Bay of Fundy place. So we'll see what we can find. Oh, it's getting cold. Getting colder. Well, I was able to secure a campsite, and I reserved it. It's at a place called Ponderosa Campground, and it's right next to the place that I want to go tomorrow morning. So that's even a bonus. So all I got to do is just get there. She said it would take about 20 minutes to get there, and they were going to hold the campsite for 45 minutes for me to reserve it. So I'm good to go. But that was sweet. No campsites in the national park, so you got to go to what's next, and that would be the privately owned campsites. Or if you could swing at stealth camp somewhere. I'm not really big into stealth camping. You just don't know what might happen out there. All right, let's see what Ponderosa Pines looks like. Woohoo! Oh, that hurt. All right, there's a big couple of dogs. Hello there, big dogs. Wow, they're beautiful. Wow, those are beautiful dogs, aren't they? I pet that Newfoundland, a chocolate Newfoundland. I've never seen that before. Look at the fur on that dog. Wow. If you can't tell, I love dogs. Okay, we are in campsite number 401. And this is kind of funny. She said it's not the furthest right, but the next right. So I think it's probably, there's the furthest right, and then the next right. So this is going to be me over here somewhere. There it is, 401. Woohoo! It's just a patch of grass, but it'll do. All right, we'll set up camp. Let you know what it looks like. Tonga Dave out.